We'll just wait for it to go live online here.
We're live.
All right, we are live, folks. All right, thank you everybody for joining us here for the GEG Asia-Pacific Connect. 3-day weekend. Yeah, right. 3-day weekend of just a whole pile of really cool Google tools that educators and technology coaches and other people are sharing from around the Asia-Pacific region. But of course, since we're on YouTube, we are broadcasting live around the world. So if you want to learn more about Google Educator groups, check out our website, sites.google.com/view/GEG Asia. Over the weekend, we have had over 80 presentations in 10 different languages from, I think, like, Stephen, 12 different countries or something like that?
Yeah, I think 12 different countries, 12 different language, or yeah.
Yeah, something like 10 languages, 12 languages, like 12 countries. Because, like, take Chinese, for example, it's spoken in several different countries around the world, right? Dozens, most countries, right? So anyway, folks, check out that link, learn more about GEG Asia-Pacific Connect, and find out what Google Educator groups are around the world. If you are here looking for online learning with Google Earth projects, you are in the right place. We are going to show you this tool that came out back in November on the 22nd. So it's relatively new, and basically what it does is give you a tour. Well, you can create a tour of pretty much anything you want if it's got a place on the Earth, which everything does. So you can create for your classroom activities. Students can create this stuff for their own demonstrations of learning. Great tool. Stephen Sutantro, who's on the call with me here, he and I are part of a program called Google Earth Education Experts. Earth every day, folks. So I'm going to walk you through some stuff, and Stephen's going to join me here by making additional comments, slowing me down because I do tend to speak really quickly. If you like what you see here, the next session at 8 p.m., we're going to show you another tool called Google Tour Creator, which allows you to do VR and 360 imaging, creating different scenes. Yes, you can use it with the Expeditions cardboard or within your browser. Yeah, right. Lots of cool stuff.
Everyone must join after this.
Yeah, right. But first, I'm representing Google Educator Group Nagoya, which is based here in Japan. We have activities online. We were hoping to do a park picnic. I guess that one's going to be on hold until next spring. We do pub nights. We do professional development in tandem with groups like English Teachers of Japan, Ed Camp, and things like that. Stephen, tell us a little bit about your Google Educator group.
Yes, I'm flying from Nagoya to Indonesia. I am pretty sure that you know all about Indonesia. Yay! Nate, you should come and visit my country because I know you have not been there.
I know, right?
So I'm from West Jakarta, the capital city, exactly in West Jakarta part. So we've been running the GEG APAC Connect, and you can check the link there, the complete schedule. If you have friends from Indonesia, do share this link to them because they will know everything about G Suite and all those stuff, especially for this period of distance learning. So it's going to be very useful. Can you go next, Nate?
And if you don't have a Google Educator group in your area, first you got to look and see if you have one. If you don't, why not get certified? Won't take you too much long, and then start one. So a little, just to let you know, this is the slide deck that we're using right now. We'll go and post it in the chat in a little bit. But I think I'm just going to type it out right now, tinyurl.com. Let's put a little slide.
Or you can scan it with your phone.
Or your phone if you're on the phone. Yep.
Yeah.
YBXW. I don't want to jump out of the thing we got going on here, folks. So anyway, grab that link. Whoops, made a mistake. There should be a B in there. Ignore that link. We'll get it in there. We'll get it in there.
Yes.
First, we'll tell you a little bit about ourselves. My name's Nate Gildart. I'm originally from Canada, but I'm a permanent resident of Japan. Been here for like 23 years or something like that. I am a diploma program, history and middle years program, individuals and societies teacher. The kinds of things I show you are the things that I do in my classroom. I am based at Nagoya International School here in Japan. And like Stephen, I also do educational technology consulting, consulting with, Google and sometimes Apple and all that. I'm YouTube certified, blah, blah, blah. You can go back and read that later. If you want to chat with me, find me at Nathan Gildart. I have a blog that's failing at learninglightbulbs.com, but socialstudiessamurai.com. Check that out.
Wow.
My YouTube channel is in development right now. If you like what you see here today, check it out tomorrow. We'll have a new video up to teach you how to do it more slowly. Steve, tell us about you, my man.
Yay. So my name is Steven. I'm a tech coach at Revo Indonesia. Basically, I'm working with Google for Education partner. I used to be a teacher, for a social study teacher as well, just like Nate. So I'm teaching geography, social study, history. And now I'm becoming an educational technology consultant. I'm a Google certified innovator, trainer, and Earth education expert. So the same with Nathan. So you can contact me. Can you go to next Nate? Yeah, you can chat me later on Twitter at Steven_Sutandro. And you can actually also see, not my failing website, it's still running, edutakers.com. So you can check out a lot of tutorials, my experience, my story is there. So, all right.
All right. And folks, we would like to know who you are and where you're from. So on the right side of YouTube, you can see that chat box. Please put in your comments, put in your questions. And again, you know where to contact us if you get this broadcast a little bit late and you want to reach out. So we are bringing the world to your classroom. So one thing we want to emphasize is storytelling. Okay, use this tool as a way to tell stories, because human beings, I mean, something that connects us as a human society, across cultures and languages and countries, are stories, right? And kids love stories, adults love stories. Who doesn't love a good story? So we want to get rolling with Google Earth projects. Okay, we're going to give you a little pedagogy, things to think about as you create your stories and plan to teach your kids, your students, to create these on their own, as well as you create your own. So this is what you're going to learn today. We're going to talk about understanding learning and storytelling with Google Geo tools. We're going to have a hands-on session that's coming up soon. Hang in there. And we're focusing on Google Earth projects. And we're going to introduce you to other features of Google Earth. Okay, so basically we'll go through best practices. We'll show you one project example, but there are several in this link, in this slides deck. And then not the hangs-on development of a project, but the hands-on development. And D and G are not even that close on the keyboard. And we're going to show you too interactivity with HTML. You could actually embed a Google form. You could embed, Answer Garden, Padlet, any third-party app if it's got HTML. So first, a bit of digital storytelling. The key idea is that you're using computer-based tools to tell a story, right? But, don't get hung up on stories in the literal sense. We think that stories are told in books and maybe in documentaries on TV. Well, much like a documentary video you might see on TV, you're just using Google Earth or whatever other tool to tell the story. Think outside of the box here. Again, think of what your narrative, should be, right? And we also call these digital storytelling, or that idea of digital storytelling, as digital documentaries, computer-based narratives, and that kind of thing. But they revolve around the idea of using multimedia to tell a story. And with Google Earth projects, you can embed pictures, you can embed video, and again, interactive HTML stuff. So there's a lot you can do with it. And of course, it's published to the web. You don't have to make it public on the web. You could keep it within your own community, but we want you to share. I'm not going to read through all of these. I think the benefits for students are obvious. Voice and agency, they get to be creative. They can show you what they've learned. They can share with the world and get that authentic audience. Really important things. And when a kid does a really good Google Earth project, or anytime they do anything well, doesn't matter what it is, they get a sense of pride and confidence. And we want to foster that in everything that we do. And along that path, they develop skills. They learn to research. They learn to analyze. They learn to be academically honest by citing their work. They develop oral and written communication skills. They learn to use digital media. These are 21st century skills that they will need for the workplace, right? And of course, there's problem solving and empathy and all that stuff. So here's an example project. You can look at a whole bunch of other ones, but we're going to go with this one right here, Modern Technology, Ancient Ideas. Now, it's going to take a moment for this to load. Unless we already have it loaded here. Yeah, we do. So we're going to go with this one. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So, Stephen, we're going to present right here. Walk us through what we have. Now, this one you can see is view only. It's been made by someone else. Oh, who might that be? Me.
Oh,
so,
it's you, Nate.
Yeah. So I'm going to click present. And so this is, Stephen, walk us through what we're seeing here.
So basically in Earth, if you go and open Google Earth, there's a section called story creation tool. So basically it's enable you to create a story instead of just passively reading the story, because Nate, we have a lot of story in Google Earth, right? From Voyagers and all those stuff. Now Google Earth, you give us powerful tools that we can create a story just like this. So right now Nate showed us a modern technology, and is it like part of your history project, Nate? Is it like history, right?
Yeah, this is something that there's too much text for a younger group, like grade 6 maybe or 7. But yeah, for older kids, yeah.
Yep. So what Nate just showed us right now, it's like it looks like a book because it has a cool table of content. If you look at the left side, there's a table of content. If you look at that, there's a is it like synopsis? Oh, you have gone through each chapter, yeah, Nate? Is it like a chapter of a title of the story, yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of like a chapter. I mean, that's how I'm using this. It's like chapters of a book, right?
Yeah. And it looks cool. Nate, tell us more about this so we can know about what is this is all about.
Okay, so one thing here that we want to point out is that when you put images in, right, that gives you a nice little blurred background, so it doesn't have like ugly black bars if you're using a portfolio land style or orientation of an image, right? And also, again, kids, you can, with the text, you can link videos, you can link images, you can show your academic honesty here. Let me go back to one here that's got. I think we have I'd say I think the one with brain surgery. Yes, 10,000 years ago, people did what's called trepanation, right? They cut a hole in your brain if your head was hurting. But notice here that you can scroll through and you can look at videos and things like that, right? So you can actually embed YouTube videos into this stuff, which just makes it a richer, more multimedia learning experience. Now, for some reason, my view, I must have zoomed in. Yeah, there we go. A little bit. All right. So
nice.
The thing is, we want to show you, basically what you can do with this. So, the plan now is to teach you how to do it, but we're not quite done with the pedagogy of all this. But have a look at these stories. You can tell I'm getting into holidays, or at least from a Western perspective.
Wow.
So
you have a lot of story.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've been working on it. So
okay.
As you prepare, right, and as you teach your students, you want to be thinking about best practices, right? So what are those best practices? Well, focus on the good, right? Encourage equity and honesty. Sometimes when we look at certain topics, I made this mistake when I was making a Google My Map years ago. And we were doing a unit on conflict, and my thinking was conflict that was violent. And so we had a lot of places in Africa and the Middle East. And of course, that just gives the impression that Africa and the Middle East is not peaceful. And there are plenty, much of those regions are peaceful and beautiful. And conflict, every human society has conflict, right? If you look at a real conflict map, you'll look at every country in the world. It just depends on the kind of conflict. Things like climate change. Yeah, we want to be honest. We want to be equitable. We don't want ethnic groups and regions of the world to look bad. I mean, tell the truth. But if you're going to, do that big topic, make sure you point out that, hey, this is something happening all over in the world, right?
So you have balanced perspective, yeah?
You absolutely have to have a balanced perspective. And that's the whole key of that, isn't it, Stephen, right? See the world for what it is, because we're by no means perfect anywhere. And again, so think about your audience and your purpose as you're doing this, right? Is it for my classroom? Is it for the whole world? If I'm creating something for my grade 11 or 12 students, then the text is going to be more advanced. And the videos I link are going to be more advanced. I might put images in that I expect them to interpret or analyze. So again, just a few points there about your audience. I recommend, and you'll see later when we show you how to make this, complete your research first. If you get your citations and your notes and your images and all that, it's just going to make things go a lot faster, right?
That's so true.
It is, right? And as you do your research, you get a better picture of the way you want to create your product, right? You get a better image of the pictures you want, the kinds of videos you might use and things like that. Always keep track of your citations. That includes images. That includes the text where you got your resources. We have to be academically honest as teachers. And of course, we want to pass that on to our students. We have to model academic honesty, right? And again, have your text and videos ready because it's going to be a lot faster making your thing, as you're going to see us do in a moment. And be consistent. You know, you want the same colors, you want the same things bolded and all that. You know, even your line spacing, make it look professional. We want our kids to learn to do this, right? So
it's readable, yeah?
It is, yeah, right? So some features of Google Earth. I'm not going to actually read through all of these. I'll point them out when we pull up a Google Earth project or before we actually do that. But you can go back and look for these things and explore them a little bit later after we do this by using this slide deck. Okay, so we're going to get to the hands-on stuff. If you already have the slide deck open, you can click on Access Google Earth. That is a link in the slide deck. I'm going to actually pull out, and I'm going to go right back in here. Now, we are going to show you first a couple of ways that you can access Google Earth because we're already into it, right? So one way to do that is, let me just go to my inbox here. All right. So I'm in my Gmail. And what I could do is go up here to my apps launcher, right? It's that little grid that you see. You tap on that and find Google Earth. And of course, Stephen, we have this in private accounts as well, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
And
so you can access it both in your school account and your private account, both.
That's right. Now, you notice up here it says earth.google.com, right? Well, there is another way that you can use it. You can go to a new tab and you just have to type earth.google.com. And if you hit that, you're going to go to Google Earth's landing page, right?
So that's a second way to access Google Earth.
Exactly, right? Now, in this way, what you do get is the actual Google Earth page where you have other resources, right? More from Earth and all that.
Opening page, the landing page.
Yep. Exactly. And that's got a whole batch of really cool stuff in there. But Google Earth, this Launch Earth is what you want. So click on that if you're following along with us here. And I'm going to take the document that we're using. Let me just throw it into the comments in StreamYard here. And I'm actually going to take this presentation and I'm going to throw it in there as well.
Whoa.
Woohoo.
Thank you, Nate.
Okay. So when you open Google Earth, you get all of these icons on the left side, okay? And it's this one right here, the blue one, that you want to go to. It's projects. Up until November last year, you didn't get to see this, right? Well, Stephen and I were lucky. We had it for about 2 years and we're playing around with it, right? But you want to click on that, and then it's going to give you this. And you come in and you see projects, and then you see all the list of projects that you've made. I'm in my GEG Nagoya account right now, so you don't see a lot of projects here. But you will see projects that you've accessed as well. So the nice thing is, when you make a new project, it automatically creates in Google Drive a folder for you called Google Earth. So you can go to Google Drive and access your project straight from there, or you can just open Earth and click and open a project from Drive or create a new project. What do you think, Stephen? Should we make one?
Of course. This is awesome.
All right. So I click new project and we're creating, okay?
Yay.
So you notice here I'm in my GEG Nagoya account, right? Well, it's not my account, it's GEG's, but so this is where I mean, hey, it's always good to do your research first and then go back. So as Steve and I were talking earlier, all you have to do is copy the title, go in, paste it in there. You can take your description. This is my description. Now, I'm not actually, yeah, right? So I'm actually just going to copy this stuff, and I'm going to put it, whoops, let me edit that. Now, here's the thing,
So you have
though.
the script prepared already, yeah?
Yeah, and if you're the kind of person that creates a lot of these, then you know what you want to do is you know, just have a short description for yourself so you can remember. Why only a short description? Well, guess what, everybody? Nobody else sees this except for me and Steven. So, but I'm working with Steven on this, right? So what I want to do is click Share Project right up there. So I'm going to go up, and it's going to tell me to continue. And now I'm going to put Steven in there. I'm going to say, hi, S. And I'm going to send it to him. And notice I gave him editing rights. So now Steven's got this, and we can work on it together, right? So that means your students are doing this as a group project. Put them in a group of 5, and they have to research 5 World Heritage sites that they're interested in, and they can all work on it together, as Steven and I can do now.
They can collaborate. All
exactly.
right, let's do it.
So, Stevie, you remember, all right, so we don't have anything in here now. So what we want to do is add something, right? So
yeah. So we have to put title first. Or
exactly, right? And so that we call that title a full screen slide.
Yeah, the slide, introduction slide.
Yep. So let's do it.
Let's do it, Nate.
So did you notice up here that this auto saves? That's a really nice thing. If your Wi-Fi is kicking well, it saves for you. So what we want to do is title the slide. Now this is our first slide that everybody sees, right? So you want all your slides to be good, but this is the first thing everybody sees. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to take my title, and I'm going to copy it and paste it in. Right?
And so that's your first slide.
That is exactly it. That is my first slide, and it's like you said, it's the title slide, right? The full screen.
Yeah.
So this is the box that everybody's going to put, everyone's going to see that text, right? So I'm just going to format it a little bit. Now, everybody, I want you to pay attention to this, because with all the other ways to put content in your Earth project, this is where you can do a lot of your editing, right? That's where your text is going to go. Now, note here, I've got my image credit, because I want to use this JPEG right here. So I'm just going to actually highlight, and I'm going to cut that out. And I'm going to do 2 things with it. Number 1, I am going to link it right here to National Geographic. Notice I got my link to a URL. I'm going to put it there. And that way, when people see my text, they're going to see, they can click on that and go to the exact image. And the next thing I'm going to do is add my background. Now, you know, Stephen, what do you do? Do you usually use colors, or do you usually use an image?
I think image will be more attractive, especially this is our introduction slide.
Yeah, I agree, right? Because you want to give people like an idea of what they're going to be looking at, right? So you can search for an image. You can go to Google Drive Images or your Google Photos. YouTube, that's a different thing. Those are where you put your videos in. I have my URL, so I'm going to click URL and simply paste it in there. You see how fast this is going? Simply because I've got my stuff already typed out.
That's super easy. It gave a lot of option to us. Wow.
Right? So now I want to see how this looks. I'm going to click View Presentation.
Whoa.
What do you think about the color, the contrast between the text and the images?
I really like it, because the text is white, so it's bright, and you have like very dark background, so it's clearly see, right? Yeah, it's awesome,
right?
Nate.
That's what you want. So if you want to go back, go back and edit it, you got to go right up here to that arrow in the top left, and then you just kind of go back, because we don't really have anything in here yet, right? So similarly, if you want to add something to it, then we're going to have to go back. So this, remember, is our title slide. We haven't actually put a place in here yet, right? So the next thing that we're going to do is click on our text. Look at that. Oh my goodness, everything is here. So the first place we want to go is a place called Memphis, Egypt, because we're going to look at this very important artifact called the Rosetta Stone. So
Wow.
I'm not going to copy my whole title. I'm going to copy Memphis, Egypt. And I'm going to go back to Earth, and I'm going to choose my new feature. And in this one, I'm going to choose Search to add a place. Because now, one thing you could do in features, you could add a place mark, which gives you, you know, you see that select the location. I have my little plus sign, and I could tap somewhere. But Memphis, Egypt, I don't know exactly where it is. So I'm going to actually not do the add a place mark. Adding place marks is good for something that might not be on Google Maps yet, or something that's just not, you know, quite listed. So I'm going to click add a place. So I'm going to search, and I'm going to paste in here Memphis, Egypt. And so notice I get that at the top is exactly where I want to go. I want the English site. Yeah, I don't want it written in Arabic, and I don't want to go to Memphis, Tennessee, right? So make sure you're in the right place. Yeah, right. So I'm going to tap on that, and I'm going to get a knowledge card pop up. Whoa, look at
that. We're flying to Memphis.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, so now we are in Egypt, right? We're in Memphis. Now we're not quite at the pyramids because we're not in Giza. We are looking at the Rosetta Stone, right? So now what we want to do is add this to our project, right? You see right down there, add to project. Okay, and by the way, this is called a knowledge card, everybody. So I'm going to click add to project, and now I'm actually going to go back because this is going to be the title of the place that we go to. And I want my title to be more interesting than Memphis, Egypt.
So we can custom the title, yeah?
You can customize the title. And the nice thing is you can customize the text, right? So we're going to click edit place right here. And
that is really cool.
The next step is to replace the text. So I'm going to, well, I will point out, if you want to change these, you can actually do it right here. You can change your pins. We're not going to do that. So we're going to click replace. And you see we have that same box now, right? So now we're going to go in and start changing things. But the first thing we're going to change is the information box, the info box here. Now, if you choose a small info box, you're going to get that white one that just popped up a minute ago. I like the black large info box. Beyond that, you can't do any other editing, right?
Wow.
So now the thing that's missing. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, like, I think you have to finish that first so we can see how it looks like.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to get all the text. And remember, I've got all the text I want to work with, so I'm just going to get all of it. I'm going to get my works cited. I'm going to get my video sources. I'm going to get all the stuff, and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to go back to Earth, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to paste it. And so now all I have to do is edit this stuff. Now, unfortunately, you can't make this box bigger at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm sure the good people at Google will fix that.
Yeah, of course.
And so as I do a bit of editing here, Stephen's going to tell you a little bit more about Earth and maybe even the Google Earth team, because we got to meet some of the Google Earth team members at headquarters, didn't we?
Yeah, of course. So basically in Google Earth, it's like, it's just not just one app, it's like many different apps, but it has a passion. I mean, like, it really wants you to travel around the world. And Google Earth is emphasizing, if you look what we are doing right now, we are combining a lot of stuff here, right, Nathan? Like geography there, history there. I mean, like, it's not just for only geography teacher and social studies teacher. If you look what we are doing right now, you can see how we can use place as a, I mean, like, as a new way to present something. Like, instead of using PowerPoint or slides, Nate, you're using this to show like the Rosetta Stone, and you can. And I mean, like, I definitely believe that your student will be more inspired, because if you look before the 3D effect when we fly to this place, I mean, like, it's really stunning. So I felt like this tools is one of the best presentation tool that you have to do it with your students right now, because I mean, like, in this distance learning, you have to use like a lot of different multimedia, right, Nate? So if we stick with just one tool, I mean, like, your student will get boring. Why don't you try to use this and try to, I mean, like, try to show them the beauty of the world, especially in this situation that we cannot go outside easily. I don't know what happened in Nagoya, but Indonesia, we cannot go around. And I think this kind of like being for me, it's like being like it make me miss to travel. I mean, like it makes me wondering, oh my gosh, I know I cannot go outside now, but I can see the world from Google Earth. So that's really amazing, and it's really helpful for your students in these situations. Yeah, look at that.
So I'm going to take it from here. All right. So as Steve was explaining that, yeah, it's a really good tool for distance learning and to get to learn about places in the world. Now, what I want to point out here, notice that here, what I did, okay, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit here. I've taken the links for my pictures and I've linked them here in my citation, right? So I'm being academically honest, and I've got the link here. So if the students, or whoever looks at it, they can just kind of click out. So I want to add a video though. I'm not going to add a citation for my video right now, but you notice, just like you add a picture, you go up to your camera icon and you're going to choose YouTube.
I love it.
You simply put the links. Now you could search for it if you want, or use your own videos. But there it is. Because I'm prepared, I got my research, I'm ready to go. I've just worked on this slide. As Steve was talking to you, it wasn't even 5 minutes, was it? Because I had my stuff done. So let's preview, kind of see how this is going to look.
I can't wait. Oh.
Woo-hoo. Hey, and look at that. Awesome. And now I can go through. Nice. Yeah, right?
Wow.
And as you scroll down.
You can play the video, yeah?
And you can play the video, yep. So I can tap here, it comes up, and if I hit play, it's going to kind of go through. And here too, actually, I can also go through and look at the images a little bit larger, right? Which is pretty cool. Awesome. Yep, it is. And so you scroll down, you've got my works cited here. One was a web source, one was a book, and I've got links to the video that I'm using. Well, actually, I should put the other video source in there. And essentially, that's it. But we want to show you a couple other things that you can do as well, right? So we're going to go back to the arrow there, right?
Woo.
Sorry if we're getting rushed here, folks. We got another one at 8 o'clock here. So okay. there is another feature that you can use, which is pretty cool. So let's say, for example, that right here, we've got let's say right here, another archaeological site. We're going to click on New Feature, and we're going to draw a line or a shape, right? Because I want to highlight. So I've got my little arrow, and I want to highlight one area. So all I had to do after I click Draw is tap, 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 and then blammo, it gives me a new thing, right?
What is that? Oh, what is it, like archaeological sites?
Well, it looks like an archaeological site, right? Let's say that the Rosetta Stone was found here, right? So I'm going to click Edit Place, and then I get everything else again, right? So I think maybe what I'm going to do is just grab another, just because we want to go quickly here. I'm going to add an image just to make that knowledge card look better, and maybe add some text. This is where the Rosetta Stone was found specifically.
Wow. So we can point out specific place and tell a story about that place.
Exactly. You can, this is good for, like, geometry and things like that too, castle shapes and things like that. So now we've got a couple of things in here, right? We've got 1, 2, 3 different things. Let's present it and see how it looks, right?
Let's see.
Okay, so we could view by using our table of contents, or if we want, we could just go right through the whole thing. Okay, so this is the Rosetta Stone. And then you click here, and now we've got the actual place marker. Or, well, actually, no, that's the I guess polygon that I've just drawn. But if we want, of course, we put a whole bunch of other different places in there, and then we have like a really long table of contents, kind of like in the example that we showed you. So now there are 2 more things that we want to kind of bring your attention to. Number 1, let's say you've done your whole project, and you're like, oh crapola, I didn't put it in the right order that I want. It's not chronologically correct or something. All you have to do is mouse over, click and drag, and then you can move things around. Let's say you want to
drag and drop.
Yeah, just like that. In fact, maybe I want to put the archaeological site first, and then say that's actually the Rosetta Stone, right? So you can move things around. Now, there is one last thing that I do want to show you. All right. So you have to add a new feature. Okay. So let's add a full screen slide for this. Or actually, you know what? I'm gonna add a place. So let's go with this place where in Israel the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. I'm gonna quickly click Add to Project, and I'm gonna type the word quiz. And I'm going to click Edit Place. Quiz? Oh my goodness, quiz. What do you mean quiz? You mean we're going to get quizzed? Okay, I'm going to replace the text again. Now,
there you go.
There you go. Now, I would do all my different, things in here. Let's go with a large info box. But what I'm going to do is click here, and I'm going to click Switch to HTML. And then blammo, I get a very simple code, right?
All right.
How do you want to use code? Stephen, tell us what you can do with code as I go to our quiz on Google Earth.
I can copy again, right?
Yeah. And in fact, I thought I gave myself editing rights for this. Hold on. I'm going to get a different quiz. You go ahead and explain embedding, if you don't mind.
Okay. I thought you were going to copy the form to that link before. Do you have other way to do it? I mean,
yeah, I do have another way. Let me just
my gosh, I think this is new for me.
Is it new for you? All right, cool. I'm excited.
Actually, yes. Yeah. This is my first time learning this.
Okay, so tell you what, everybody. Let's say you have made your Earth tour and you want to quiz students on it. Then let's say I'm just going to go with, hey, look, Google Forms quiz. I'm going to open that up. And of course, ideally, the quiz I'm going to use is something related to what we're doing here. Whoops, my bad. So this is the view that you have of Google Forms as the creator. So now remember, we want to put HTML. So what does that mean? It means you're going to put a code in that gives your quiz access in your thing. So you click send, and right here, when you see that, that's the universal symbol for embedding. So note here, it's got the HTML, right? Now this might be a little bit, the width looks fine. The height, I want to make it a little bit longer. So I'm going to change that. And I'm just going to copy it and go back to my Google Earth tour. And I want to put it right here, right in between the two things that say body.
The body thing.
Yep. I'm just going to paste it in there.
Wow.
And in here is where you can make any kind of changes and edits. So now let's view the presentation. Let me just zoom out a little bit more. Whoops, let me tap in here and zoom out. My fingers aren't working for me here. Let's click view presentation, see how it goes. And then blammo, you've got your quiz in there. And you can actually fill out the quiz in there.
That is so awesome. Oh my God.
Click next.
You can embed the form inside Google Earth.
Exactly. So
you don't have to go to different tab.
Exactly. Didn't have to go to a different tab. You can put Padlet, Answer Garden, meaning you can make your stuff interactive.
Wow.
And this is so Google Earth. Isn't that cool? You didn't do the HTML stuff before?
Not yet. This is my first time.
Well, you know what, folks? I've actually done a whole keynote presentation for 40 minutes using this Google Earth Projects tour. So think outside of the box. Presentations, keynote speeches or addresses, or maybe just classroom activities. But there are a million ways I'm sure you can use Google Earth Projects.
That's why I love Google.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, you can custom a lot of stuff there. I mean, without worrying about coding, because many teachers probably worry, hey, I'm not really doing coding. It's just like me. So, but when I look at what you did, it's just awesome. It's easier than what I thought before. I mean, wow.
Well, that's the thing. You can. It really is not that difficult, right? So, I encourage people to kind of play around a little bit. Start with the simpler stuff and then play around, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. In fact, before we get into other cool stuff, this is Nate's shameless self-promotion part of the presentation. All right. Hey, up to 50 subscribers, and we just launched. Thank you. I'm going to be putting up by tomorrow a slower tutorial on how to create your own Google Earth project. So if you go to Social Studies Samurai in YouTube, go ahead and click subscribe. That would be awesome. And what you'll find are different sections. One is skill building for social studies students. The next is 360-degree videos about Japanese history mostly, and then a few other places in the world. And then educational technology tutorials. I'm going to put a Google Earth projects tutorial here under educational technology tutorials. And I'm also going to put tour creators, so you can create your 360 tours. So I'm just going to throw that shamelessly into the comments as well. And people, tell us where you're from. We got MK in from Malaysia, right?
Hi, MK.
Thanks for stopping in. Everybody else, tell us where you're from. Now, before we let you go, we're going to tell you some other cool stuff in this slide deck, okay? Before we do that, though, remember, I'm Nathan Gildart. You can get me at learninglightbulbs.com or socialstudiessamurai.com. Steve, give you a shout out.
So I'm Steven here. You can follow me at Steven_Sutantro, and you can visit my website at www.educator.com.
Awesome. So here's an extremely ugly slide, but it's got loads and loads of things that you can check out. You can go through the rest of the slide deck, which is deliberately not prepared for this presentation, but it tells you about my maps and Google Lit trips, literature trips, totally cool. So use these as sources for you to further your learning. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so you can get Stephen and I and our pretty little faces. Remember, we do have 2 or 3 more presentations in 10 different languages across Google Educator groups, Asia-Pacific. Feel free to check them out. All these links are going to be live forever and ever and ever. So yeah, go back, have a look, choose your language, choose what you want to learn. Thanks a lot for checking in. We're GEG Nagoya and GEG West Jakarta. Steve, you're going to get the last word, my man. Thank you so much for helping out tonight.
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience. I feel like even though I know Google Earth, it's always something new to learn when you present it. So I'm sure everyone here who watch will be so inspired and try to do this right away, because I think this is what we need right now, Nate, for distance learning. It's perfect, man.
Try it on Monday, right? I mean, and for distance learning, great idea. And if you're not sure, get your kids to do it, right? Get your students to do it.
Of course. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna end the broadcast, folks. Thanks a lot for jumping in. Check out a Google Educator group near where you live. Bye for now.
Bye.